Alright, today we are going to talk about a game that kind of old, not really. I mean, when did it come out? Not last year. No, it was last summer, wasn't it? No, it was the year before. It was like, what, 2022 or something? I don't freaking remember. It's not that old, but I only just got around. Well, no, I actually beat it like a year ago at this point. But either way, point is, we're going to talk about it now, and that is Stray. So let's get right into the story. So, the main story of Stray is pretty simple. You're a cat with your little cat family, cat friends. I don't know, I mean, they're cats who don't really talk, so they don't exactly talk about what their relationship is with each other. But you're trying to traverse, just wander around doing what cats do, and you end up getting separated from the group, falling down a very dark and deep hole, and your whole mission as a cat is to get back up to the surface and find your friends, family, whatever they are. Pretty basic story. Obviously, there's more to it, but that's just the basics. So anyway, let's move on to the gameplay. So the gameplay is, of course, it's pretty basic given that obviously you're just, a normal cat. You don't have superpowers or anything, but you're able to do a lot of you could say parkour because of the fact that you are a cat. So you're obviously very good at jumping and balancing around. Of course, there is a button so that way you can meow, and if you meow around robots, they'll sometimes like emote to it and think it's super cute. Also have little things like around the world that are interactable, such as you can find little places where you can take a little cat nap or you can drink some water. You can also do things of, you can find like surfaces that you can scratch on and whatever, and that is sometimes used in puzzles. There are puzzles in the game. They're all pretty simple, and it doesn't really take too much to figure out. They're not like, something that's like a toddler could figure out, not insultingly simple, but they're not going to be anything that you're going to be racking your brain for hours and just be completely stuck on. So the gameplay, of course, it's just kept simple in all that regard. There are collectible things such as you can find, bits of memory, and there's a robot you can find songs for. So there are some collectible things in order to, achieve 100%, if you will. Of course, the controls, they work wonderfully. It feels super smooth, and you can kind of feel like, it's weird to describe, I guess, but feel the weight when you're jumping or like you're balancing on something. Like, it feels good to move, if that makes sense. It all runs very smooth. The cat, it controls kind of like you would expect for the fact that, you're a four-legged creature, not a bipedal one. So you're turning, like, it's not that it's bad, of course, or anything, but it feels a little different, I would say, from when you are playing as a human in other games. It's not something like super drastically different that, it's gonna make the game really hard or anything, but you can tell they put time in it to make your movements, I guess you could say, feel like you are a cat, which always a great thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to my thoughts and opinions. So, I honestly was sold on this game just by the fact that it was like, you get to play as a cat. And I'm like, frick yeah, I love cats. I love dogs. But it's like, I love cats. I had a black cat named Spooky, and he was my baby. So, like, I was like, oh, that could be, a really fun concept and idea. So, obviously, I was like, I always knew I was going to get this game. And when I did get this game, honestly, there was a lot more to it than I thought there was gonna be. Because the fact that there's so much, and this game has a lot of some of my favorite kind of storytelling where it's a lot more, I'm gonna try to figure out a good way to describe this. It's like a lot more subtle and environmental, and it's not really in your face. Like, just not everything's handed to you on a silver platter. And the kind of interesting thing with it too is, you know, as a cat, like, all this other lore and everything that's being presented in the game, like, for your character that you're playing, in some ways, it kind of doesn't really matter to him or affect him, but it makes it feel like this world. Sorry, I don't know why I'm holding my son's teether, but just like to mess with things with my hands, okay? The way, like, the world, it just feels almost, you could argue, more real, because there's this whole big story and everything that's going on outside of what your main character problem is of, you know, just, I'm a cat and I'm trying to get back home. It's like there's this whole other, and I guess you could say spoilers, but it's never necessarily even 100% spelled out, but basically something happened that, like, the world was becoming uninhabitable and everything, so they all went underground, and the humans are gone at this point. It's just a bunch of robots living underground, and it's become this crazy, like, they're all trapped under there. They're not even looking to the surface because obviously the surface is inhabitable now. There's a bunch of greenery up there. I mean, just alone, there's our main character, the cat, and his little cat friends. So, you know, the robots have basically been lied to at this point that they can't go above ground, so they're living in this, like, very harsh and unforgiving underground where there's these little rodent, like, meant to get rid of waste things that kind of went out of control, and if you're not careful, you know, they'll kill anything within a matter of seconds. So, like, you know, it's not a very happy and forgiving place, because it's extremely dark down there. Like, the sky, it's artificial. There's not really a daytime set anymore even. It's like just always night with some stars. So, you know, even for these robots, which, you know, they're just robots, but they're characterized very well. You know, they've never known anything outside of living in this underground, but there's some of them that are trying to escape. And it's like, just this whole thing of making this world feel real, because you have your really simple basic plot of cat wants to get home with this whole other, here's all this lore and all this crazy stuff that has happened in the world. And I just love that kind of storytelling. Like, obviously I love things, you know, more straightforward and streamlined with storytelling, like the Yakuza games, and, you know, you could argue like Final Fantasy and stuff, love that. But I also love these really subtle ones. And the game itself too, like, speaking of that, you know, already kind of touched on it, it just looks gorgeous. Like, the way the cat controls, it feels good. Like, the controls are good and smooth. It's not much of a complicated game, and it's not a very difficult game either. It's, the puzzles and everything, they're pretty easy to figure out. It's not really meant to be a super challenging game, and of course, on this channel, we are okay with that. I don't look to sweat my butt off and have the world's most difficult time. That's not what I'm here for. I will play games on easy mode. Sometimes maybe I'll traverse up to normal, but most of the time it's easy. But it definitely is a game that's just a lot more simple to pick up. And then it's also very short. It's only 5 hours, but I think that works well for it because, you know, obviously this is a game, yes, the concept, you know, it's cute, it's fun, it's good and everything, but of course, if they try to drag it on to even, you know, 10 hours or something, the game definitely would have started to feel like it was dragging, and it'd just be like, what is even the point of all this story and everything? So, it being short too, and that also makes it a great game that, you know, if you just got nothing to play, you could pick it up Saturday, Sunday afternoon, something, and you could easily beat it that same day if you just kind of want a more relaxed and you know, still fun experience, because it's like it's fun just running around as a cat, and you get all this stuff of like you can lay somewhere and sleep, you can like rub up against people the way cats do to get attention, you can knock stuff over, just the little added quirks and touches of, you know, just living as a cat. Which I do know there is another game kind of like that coming out where you play as a cat, but I think it's a lot more along the lines of like Untitled Goose Game, so it's definitely not as serious in like story and everything. Not that that's bad, but just a heads up. I can't remember the name of the game, but that I think is coming out maybe sometime this year. But honestly, like this game, I can see why it was up for Game of the Year, which honestly, I would have found it so funny if Cat Game did beat out Elden Ring, but that's besides the point. But honestly, like, I can see why, because it's a very unique game and creative game, and you can tell they weren't doing it just like trying to make a quick cash grab. The people who made the game, they really cared. They put time and effort into the game, and you know, we gotta encourage that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, let's encourage these unique games like Stray that are coming out, that are trying very different and unique topics. Like, this is a cat, but it doesn't even have to be like so simple as like, oh, it's just a cat. They put this whole other world around it. Like, let's get more stuff like that, more interesting stuff on the market. And not every game has to be these 50-hour games. There's nothing wrong with the long game, mind you. I play plenty of long games, playing through, you know, Infinite Wealth right now, and then I got Persona 3. But it is sometimes nice just to have these games like Stray that are just these short, little, concise, you know, easy to do games. And then it's something that it's like, well, because it's so short and everything, it kind of gives it replay value in my opinion, because it's like, oh, you know, months and months later I'm bored. Why not pick up this little game? I know it's not long. I'm not gonna like have to get super invested and spend hours and hours to beat it. I just kind of want to play something. Like, honestly, this game is perfect for all that. And I definitely, even if the concept seems a little like maybe it's boring or something, I would still recommend checking it out, because like I said, there is a lot more to it than you're just being a cute little cat. They definitely put a lot more into it. But anyway, I am gonna give this game an 8.5 out of 10. Love it. It's great. You should definitely check it out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. You don't have to, but it helps let me know what y'all are enjoying. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. I upload every Friday. My Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, second channel, all linked down below. Twitch, I'm on Tuesday through Friday, streaming at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!